Hey everyone, I don't know if I'll end up making a whole playlist on this, but I spent the past week or so going down the gifted and talented education rabbit hole because I remember getting pulled for that, but I don't remember much about what happened other than hearing tests. And I just assumed the giant headphones were because they were 70s headphones, and I was a kid in the early 90s. And I definitely remember being pulled out to learn algebra because I had a little meltdown about that. And a little bit of the pink drink thing, but everything else so far has been really blurry. And I tried the first of the CIA Gateway tapes to see if that dredged up anything. And two listenings to like tape one hasn't. But I also saw in those comments that those might not be the 1990s edition of those tapes, so maybe there's a different version. Anyway, after going way too far down everyone else's rabbit holes, I decided to just start looking around and seeing what documentation I could find. And I apologize if other folks have already found this and have shared it, but this is just my start on this exciting journey. So I was like, what the heck does WikiLeaks have? And I'm only looking from 70 to 99 just because that's about when I was in a school. Yeah, Y2K grad, what? There is not much in this particular first document other than registering there was a protest against it. And this one was created in 79. Because at first I thought it was protesting this council from 77. I'm just going to go raw context. I find that easier. Participant should coordinate with so-and-so. Okay, this is the one that doesn't say anything. Sorry. So I was trying to pre-plan. Because some of these are long, and some of these are not particularly helpful. Alright. So they met with the Assistant Secretary Patsy Minsk for 45 minutes, the Director of Office of Soviet and Eastern European Science and Technology, OES, and Bulgarian Desk Officer. They explained environmental impact statements, mentioned recent Bulgarian legislation to safeguard the environment, and explained the procedure followed when a Bulgarian enterprise is unable to comply with this limited official use. So without going too far into this, stressing that in no case does the GOB allow the economy to suffer. And then they talk about like this exciting thing about herring. I know, super exciting. What we're going to get down here though is part 4. So Papilov delegation next met with Dorothy Sisk, Director, Office of Gifted and Talented, Office of Education. Pavzov and she explained methods of identifying gifted and talented in each other's country and their responsibilities in this area. They examined the possibility of exchanging teachers of gifted and talented. And then Papazov asked us for support of the Bulgarian Quarterly International Journal of Gifted Education, published in English and French, and soon to become the official journal of the UNESCO-affiliated World Council for the Gifted and Talented. And when I first read this morning, my mind sort of was like, ah, wait, what's Bulgaria doing with this? So I had to look up, and yes, Bulgaria is an ally of ours. So I don't know what's going on in the Balkans. I should probably be a little more with it. Dorothy Sisk, Director of Gifted Talent, Office of Education. I'm copying up a little bit of notes for myself to maybe go look at later. Examining teachers. And so we have International Journal of Gifted Education. Soon to become the... And this World Council does exist. And I will look that up once I'm done with this. To discuss cross-cultural research, including curriculum development, particularly in areas of science and technology, which really doesn't say much of anything, but we've got some names to go look for later, if we want. Okay, visit report. Boom. NSF Director of Division of International Programs and European Program Officer met with leadership as well as individual scientists in a full and satisfactory program, emphasized the need to jointly administer target areas for research, appropriateness of U.S. science attaché accreditation visits, need to broaden impact of BAM program to seminars and workshops, and American satisfaction with development of NSF SDSP program to date. Bulgarian side named several areas of priority research emphasis, offered to host tripatriate U.S., Soviet, and Bulgarian meeting on innovations, requested cooperative agreement with NTIS, and asked for assistance with gifted and talented persons research, and invited visits by NSF, the National Science Federation Director and Presidential Science Advisor. Okay. Dr. Bodo Bartocha, Director of the Division of International Programs, and Mrs. Deborah Wentz. First met State Committee for Science and Technological Progress. Okay, that's not what we're looking for. SCSTP Gifted and Talented Persons Program, Levcho Zdravichev. Petrov said the SCP is happy with progress of program to date, especially because Bulgarian scientists have been working in first-rate U.S. institutions. He said Bulgarian side has submitted 9 proposals, some of which are still pending action. We have no idea what those are. Bartoska's suggestion of targeting research areas, Petrov said the Bulgarian side wants to concentrate in a few areas of fundamental research, which also have useful applications, promised to send a list of the research priorities next 3 to 4 years. In this connection, he announced a Bulgarian science attaché is being sent to Washington and will be prepared to discuss priorities. Petrov said the improvement of livestock feed resources and robotics would be among Bulgaria's target areas. And then Petrov introduced Zdravichev, who presented a report on Bulgarian efforts in identifying and educating gifted and talented persons. Part of this effort is being conducted with Dr. Dorothy Sisk of DU, he said, but he would like, okay, so it is DHEU. Just putting this in my little file. Sisk of DU, he said, but he would like to support and explore NSF research support as well. Dr. Bartocha indicated that this field is out of NSF competence, but promised to explore sources of funding and write to Zdravichev. Bartocha expressed the NSF's disappointment that a regional U.S. science attaché had been refused accreditation and hoped the state committee would advocate a positive response from the foreign ministry whenever such a proposal was made again. Petrov's response was not committal, and Petrov said the Bulgarians had previously invited the director of NSF to visit Bulgaria, and he reiterated this invitation by the President's Science Advisor of Bulgaria. Petrov also reported that during his last visit, he met with Assistant Secretary of Commerce Jordan Baruch and discussed Bulgarian participation in U.S.-Soviet seminars on introduction of innovations. Petrov said he has since received approval from the Soviets. Good times. And indeed, Bulgaria now formally offers SOSA tripatriate meeting on innovations. Promised to call Burke with this information. Promised to send Petrov a copy in the government. NSF officials met with Sorry, just trying to see if there's any more gifted and talented stuff in here, and nothing is popping out of me. But if you guys see something that I don't, please feel free to point it out. Norms and standards for building, construction, seismic active areas. Oh, that's exciting stuff. Science attaché, increase access. Sent to the embassy for the further development of the program. Science attaché, access to research institutes. Alright, I think that is all the useful stuff in this one to gifted and talented. Just want to make sure I grab a couple more names out of this. Sorry. So, okay. Sadeshchev. Report. Gifted and talented persons. So maybe we can find the drug check at some point. No, back out. Okay, we have 1977. Embassy of Sofia. During her visit to Washington, Zivkovka had expressed interest in visiting school concerned with education of gifted children. Popov told us separately that the subject in general was of great interest to her. Unfortunately, we were unable to fit a visit into her schedule. We have learned from Hugh, however, that considerable information on U.S. and other country programs for gifted children may well be available in Sofia. Professor David Davidoff, Vice President of the Committee for Science, Technology, and Higher Education, Sofia is the Bulgarian delegate to the newly formed World Council of Gifted and Talented Children. Okay, that's interesting. Okay. As such, he is Bulgaria's most knowledgeable individual regarding U.S. gifted children programs. Embassy may wish to pass this info to Zivkova through Damanyov on the chance that she is not aware of Davidoff or his activities. Okay. Interesting. So something's going on. Oh. Did I double click myself too far back? Yes, I did. Sorry. Okay, so that's Madam Zikova's, and then we have this conference for the World Council for the Gifted, which this one is the 1977 one. I don't know if there's much in here. Taipei Conference. Plans to send a representative, advise whom they may send for hotels and whatever. Okay, yeah, that one wasn't too helpful. Other than to know that it existed, and for whatever reason. I just keep clicking back too far, don't mind me. Alright, so that's the conference, and then we have this Papazov visit. Okay, stay, subject, program suggestions. Provide embassy with specific program suggestions and list of programs of special interest to Bulgarian delegation. Papazov delegation visit, as promised, did not differ significantly from what had previously been discussed. Bulgarian proposals followed by date. Also request visit to IBM Research Center with Chairman and Chief Scientist. Department may wish to consider suitable cultural event. Possibly a musical concert or an opera. Morning sighting, working meetings, lunch. Academy of Science, Standards, and HEW comes up again. Has requested to meet with Ms. Dorsey Sisk of Office for Gifted and Talented at Office of Education. He has also requested visit to Beltsville Agricultural Research Facility. Oh, that probably has to do with the forage. Depostov says he believes the Bulgarian embassy will wish to give reception for Papazov evening of either February 9th or 10th and request department to coordinate. Other evening, department may wish to arrange. Start a concert event. Appointment may be made with appropriate senior department official, bearing in mind Papa's other hats as member of Secretariat of Central Committee of Bulgarian Communist Party and the chairman of the National Committee for Bulgarian and Soviet Friendship. Why were we so close to the Soviets on this? This seems really odd to me. A position formerly held by full Politburo member. In the event, the embassy will propose possible topics for discussion. Go sightseeing in Washington. Have fun with that. Bulgarian embassy, new ambassador, sightseeing, evening travel, Brandeis. As a possible appropriate American cooperation consultant. Okay. Return travel plan. Okay, so we haven't gotten any really new names, but criteria. Okay, interesting themes here. Methodized setting research costs, accelerated translation, scientific promotion and skill development, systems and market research. Transmitting themes, commercial. Okay, so not a whole lot in here on Gifted and Talented, but it did give us a few things. So the World Council thing, like what totally threw me off, and I guess it's turning us all into happy little globalists. When I first ran this, like, I'm like, oh, it's in Bowling Green, but then you end up looking at the actual site, and it is so not. Thought for a second. There is a history. I just need to keep scrolling. World Council, Diverse Network. Oh, of course, okay. Of course I can't find it when I want to, after I've looked at it. But... sorry. Of course my computer wants to run slow. The second I need to just click something so I can keep working. Okay. So if that was painful... so they have conferences, they have news, but I think most of what I was looking for... So there's like a journal history, jobs, degree programs. Sorry. I was trying to find the thing that I found on here earlier, which was essentially like the history. And maybe it's past this, and I just gotta keep moving. Okay, originated 40 years ago upon the inspiration of a prominent British advocator for the gifted, Henry Collins, evolved into a non-profit organization of educators in the field of gifted education that spans the globe today. Okay, I thought I paused it, but maybe I didn't pause it, so I apologize if my work announcement to clear the building cut in here and then was followed by a bunch of awkward silence. Anyway, yeah, so Henry Collins started this thing, and apparently they did move it to Bowling Green in 2011. So it kind of makes sense. I'm just laughing because I saw something the other day talking about like how in America we are just terrible. And we like to name things international, but then like all the racetracks are in America. And then if you look for actual international orgs, they always call themselves world something, but you know, they go to tracks that are actually international. Whereas in our weird country, we call it international just because the Canadians come over and hang out with us. But yeah, they have delegates, they have publications, Gifted and Talented International. Let me see, is that the one that we got lifted over here? Official Journal of International Journal of Gifted and Education. So that's probably got renamed as a serial to Gifted and Talented International. But hey, that works. The executive is an ex officio member. It's UNESCO affiliated. And again, the Bulgarian thing is giving me like a whole head scratcher because I don't understand how exactly Bulgaria got sort of involved in this. Most recent poll list for Daryl. Oh, okay, because it's grabbing on Dorothy. Okay. Sometimes in life you use keywords when you mean phrase. Okay. Post project on gifted children. Program suggestions. Exchange of gifted children, which Chairman Papazov discussed, does not fall within the purview of the National Science Foundation. In addition, the agreement expressly excludes topics in clinical medical science, business administration, education, perhaps be accommodated under a program of cultural, educational, scientific, and technological exchanges between U.S. and Bulgaria for 77 and 78, of which this Department of State is the executive agency. Okay, that's interesting. Oh, overshot. Is that the proposed project one? Yeah. And I think this is just one of the reports we read earlier. Impact ban, American satisfaction, Bulgarian side priority research interest. Oh yeah. Yeah, come on over and learn about our people. Yeah, I read this one already. And of course now my machine is like, I'm gonna fart out on you. Because you want me to think about too many things. Anyway, the other little rabbit hole. Oh, there we go. started looking at the government publication results on this. I didn't go into advanced search, I was just tooling around. Mention deficit disorders, what do we really know? Career decisions, nope, 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 nope. Achievement, exemplary classroom, voices of perfectionism. Twice exceptional students, yeah, okay. And then there's like the bilingual Hispanic students. Here we go, this is what I was looking for. The Jacob K. Javits Gifted and Talented Students Education Program. And this starts in like 1998 in terms of like the documentation, but maybe this will go back further. Professional development, what you should know. But yeah, see, and then there's New Horizons, which I think we might have in our library. But it's playing with the microform machine, which is fine. Somebody's got to play with the microform machine. Teachers nurturing, academic diversity. Case studies of talented students who achieve and underachieve in urban high schools. Yeah, I'm thinking that Jarvis one. So exploratory studies, staff development, new window for looking at gifted children. It says it only goes, I think, out to 100, so don't worry, I'm only clicking a few more pages. These kids don't fit, ain't that the truth? Undiscovered Edisons. ADHD, creativity, and gifted students. 1995, so that would have been closer to when I was in school. Javits Gifted and Talented Students Education Program, grants, projects, and abstracts. Okay. Yeah, depository libraries. Okay, and this is one of the things I get in like an argument with my boss about every so often, because we're a depository library, and I know he's like, you don't need those anymore. But there's a lot of stuff on like microfiche like this that I don't know if we're gonna find outside of depository libraries. So yeah, I'm just gonna grab this and the SUDOC number, and maybe at some point tomorrow I will see if I can actually find this, because this Javits thing has me wondering. Yeah, link ed, no, just ed. I just need a SUDOC number. But yeah, that's why I'm sitting here spending a little extra time just pulling these. Project start, trial, practices for high ability students. Gifted children, science talent, what you need to know. Okay, this was the bottom of the page. I ended up clicking back one extra. Observational study, residential schools. Yeah, I didn't have to deal with that. New application for grants in 92. New application for grants. Instrument use in the identification. Ooh, this is interesting. I wonder if we can find this. Instruments are usually the fancy word for like tests and stuff. So yeah, I'm kind of curious if I can find this somewhere. This is 1991. SUDOC number. Cool. And that's probably where we need to go next, that Gifted Children United States identification. Okay. It automatically just shoots you one back, just to be fun. Okay, so yeah, I grabbed this. Standards for programs involve gifted and talented, even talented students, and overview. I don't know if I'll be able to find this either, but I am going to grab it because I'm kind of curious. What exactly were the standards? This is 1989. Yes, this is squarely of when I would have been tested. Because I was about 7 and my whole world was going down. But hey, you do you, right? Welcome to ADHD Hyperfocus. Application. Comprehensive School Health Education Act of 1987. Yeah, this was the one I saw in our catalog, but it's down in microfiche. So I don't know if I'm gonna go dig that out. I probably should keep that in mind though. Meeting the Needs, Gifted and Talented Education Act. So there were like hearings on this, although that doesn't necessarily mean people were paying attention. Including cost estimate to Congressional Budget Office. Shares role in educating gift. Okay, I want both of these actually, and then we'll probably come back for more eventually if I can find it. Oh, it's a volume. It's a big volume. Okay. Usually these are like little tiny reports. I don't know what the administrator's role in the education gifted in children should be. Oh, it's only 2 pages. What am I talking about? But yeah. And I may not have all the numbers I need because I know I didn't for it to be exciting. But... And this is, okay, so House Resolution 3263, which I assume is the Children and Youth Education Act. And maybe we should go digging around and figuring out what that is later. I don't know. I tend to get myself down a research rabbit hole, but this is seriously intriguing me. And I'm not quite sure. Again, what does this have to do with Bulgaria? Other than we were in the Cold War at the time. Which may just be the only answer I have. Yeah, we have a lot of Y sudocs. We don't have too many of the E's. Anyway, you can see catalogs, electronic titles, government ebooks. Do all sorts of lovely fun things. But I think I am almost... Okay, almost to the end. Curricula, developing individualized education programs, developing programs, evaluation issues generated by 2 dimensions, evaluation, forming a local parent association, gifted and talented handicapped. Okay, again, I kind of want the identification stuff. Leadership skills, I don't have that. I'm going to stick with this identification, though. Yeah, see, Eric Clearinghouse on handicapped and gifted. Okay. The other one we have is from 1991. We're sort of going backwards in time, but that's fine. And as I'm sure you can tell, I'm not grabbing everything. I'm just grabbing some that we'll get later. And considering these are all microfiche, I have no idea if I'm going to be able to dig them out easily. I'm probably being a little too ambitious. But that's the nice thing about this. You can always come back in and re-dip your beak in. Leadership skills. I don't know if I care enough about leadership skills right now. Alright. Last 10, and then we're going. Technology, professional training, vocational education, career education. What if your child is gifted? There's Dorothy Sisk! Ooh. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Oh, okay. This might go all the way to the front. If I can find this. I so totally want to find this. 1979. Oh, it's a paperback. Okay. So I might actually get a book. Yeah. Although it's like they're closer brochures. Applications for grants, programs and projects, education by the U.S. Commissioner and background papers. Submitted, educational assistance, 91st Congress. Okay. Report to the Congress by the U.S. Commissioner and background. Okay, so these are the, like, final reports. 324 pages, yeah, that should be a final report. Okay. That one's going to take me, like, I don't know, forever, but I might be able to pull some stuff out eventually. So there's someone who is overly ambitious about her hyper-focus. That's 1972, and I feel like that's as far back as this sort of nonsense went, hopefully. We'll see. Anyway, there is a lot of stuff out there. We just gotta try to go out and find it. So if anyone wants to do more searching on WikiLeaks and talk to me later, that would be great. Meanwhile, I have a giant pile of exciting stuff to go look for. Let you know how it goes.